This is Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan from Redaction, and thank you all for joining us today on the occasion of this launch of iDream learning app. And we are really happy to this app with all the children, teachers, and community members. So as you know, this situation, it is very important that education should continue. And being an organization which believes a world where dignity of men, women, and children can be ensured through education, it is very important that in any situation, we should look forward how this continuity of education can be done. And that is where this application will be helpful. And I'm happy that I have been joined in this launch with me, our Global CEO, Mr. Charles Emmanuel Balangir, our Deputy CEO, Global Deputy CEO, Mr. Savy, and he's joining us from Cambodia. I'm happy that our board member, Mr. Sanjeev Kotnala ji, he has also joined us from Mumbai. Our International Program Director, Shri Ravi Pratap Singh, he is joining us from Colombo. We have with us our Program Director for support PDSU from South Asia, Mr. P.B. Sajeev. He is joining us from Chennai. And we have with us from the iDream education team, Mr. Rohit. So I welcome all of you in this formal launch of iDream. So I'll not take much time. I'll request our global CEO, Mr. Charles Emmanuel, to please talk about and officially announce the launch of iDream Learning app from Aide Action. Yes, Charles.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Aishwarya, for this very nice initiative. So everyone is very committed in our organization to focus on the education of the most vulnerable and the most marginalized populations. And obviously, the first vulnerable are the children and the women. Regardless of the community which they belong, they accumulate difficulties. If they belong of a migrant family and they are children, if they belong to extreme poverty family and they are children or women, they accumulate all these difficulties. So that's why it's very, very important that we can go on with the education. We can set up this app, iDream, to prevent, to stop education even in crisis situation, whatever they are. So I am very proud of this initiative launched by South Asia members of AEAI, and I officially launch this app through our organization, and first in India, and I hope it will help many children, many young girls to go on with their education, so that in the future they will be able to to realize their dreams, to have a better life and to have a work and to be in a good life and a sustainable life for themselves and their families. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charles, for your words. And we are happy that you are able to join from France for this particular launch. And I would request now our Deputy CEO, Mr. Savy, to come in here and share that how he sees this digital learning in the coming time, especially in the situation like when this COVID-19 issue is going globally, how it will be addressed. Savy, please.
Thank you very much, Aishwarya, and thank you everyone for joining this launch. As Chairman said, due to the lockdown of the pandemic, we have more than 1 billion children who are not able to learn under the disruptive education system around the world. So these are critical, and at AEAI, we do our best to ensure that we will be able to make, to enable lesson plans or books available to the children, especially vulnerable children, where we work. And from a program perspective, these are essential that will allow us to be able to reach. I'm not saying that we will be able to reach all our target group, but this will be an alternative learning strategy, flexible learning strategy that will bring books and lesson plans to the children where they are cut off from education. I think, and as this cannot be done alone, that's why I think having partnership with the team from we have Rohit here from iDream Learning Apps. I think it had to come together because we cannot do it alone. It's extremely essential to have a partnership. And I'm very glad that we are able to launch this first in India. And I would be very interested to look for a potential opportunity where we could explore to roll out the global, perhaps potentially to roll out to many children around the world. In Cambodia, also in Laos, we are also running this kind of learning apps. In Cambodia, we call Khmer Learns, and also in Laos Learn in Laos, where we are also promoting different learning content to the children, especially children in the primary and second primary. These essentially we have not been able to launch something into formal education because these are much more supplement learning materials to a formal education system. And very glad that iDream were able to launch with the formal education curriculums from the government, and would be very keen to explore the possibility where we could do together in other countries. Thank you very much, and thank you for this partnership.
Thank you very much, Savy. I think, and I was actually about to ask you about this Khmer Learn, because I know the Khmer Learn app, which is already very famous in Southeast Asia, especially in Cambodia, how we are, dealing with the reading ability through the local language. I think that's remarkable and needs to be, taken into other countries and continents also. Being an international organization working on the issues of education, it is very important how, from the management perspective, things are being seen, because it is very important to look holistically and try to innovate and experiment things accordingly. And I think no other than our, board member, Shri Sanjeev Kotnala, can talk about. So I'll request Sanjeev sir to please, share about this app and how they, he sees this app and the further improvements in this and for the larger sharing for the community. So,
thank you, Aishwarya. Thank you, team members. I'm audible, I believe. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hi. So this check over. I think COVID-19 has given us a push and an opportunity right now. Okay. And in that process, this app, which can take into the mother languages, which is very critical in a cultural diverse country like India, where the education comes in the primary language, mother tongue, that the guy or the kid takes on. As an organization, we are committed to change through education. I think that's a perfect fit. But one is not worried about the fit. One is worried about what it can deliver. And I think, Ravi, and correct me if I'm wrong, in most of the marginalized family and teaching of their kids, there comes a period in which the education almost stops and then it starts. The phase that they migrate, they come back or other places. Now this app, though it is right now in this time of coronavirus that it's going to help us, I think it's for a far, far outreaching possibility. There's possibilities for a far longer term. Because education, even for us, is a continuous process. So when you handle a kid's education, the interest level, the activities, the way of learning, etc., becomes far important. And in today's diverse world, and in the field the way we work, this app becomes a very critical plug in that whole jigsaw puzzle. So I think we are on the right, and as any other app, as any other process, it takes some time to find out how wide can you go, how deep you can go, how much the scope you can take it to. And it is through interaction with the kids when they use it in the process that we will be able to do it. So I think the work has now started for us to ensure that the right utility of the app happens, which is right now done with iDream Education Group. I think we are very good because this is an era of co-create, co-implement, co-support. And as I said earlier, there's nothing that you can do alone. And that's a reality in life. So I think very excited to see this app. We'll be operating through it for some time to tell you where I can feel that there are some things required. I think the two organizations, iDream and Aide are very open and transparent to be able to take these kind of feedback and make it better. So I think it's a damn good. I'm excited about it. And let's also put down a 3 months down the line, a kind of a place to say what happened. Because many times these launches are things we keep on and we do it and we reach further, but put a timeline and Aishwarya, you can do that. So we can meet after 3 months and say what happened. Okay. So I think that's quite enough from my side as of now. Back to Aishwarya. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words, because I think it's the vision which actually drive the forces. And that's where, it's very important. And if we have this vision, we'll definitely do that. Meanwhile, when we are into this discussion, those who are all watching this, I'm requesting all my, team members, trainers, teachers, community members, stakeholders to please keep posting your, questions, because I can see a lot of questions are coming in this session about the application, because we have Rohit with us, who will be definitely able to answer, few of your questions, not all your questions, but he will definitely, take your questions. Before I go to Rohit and give, few more minutes to all of you to write down your comments, whether it is from Vietnam team or whether it is from Chennai, whether it is from, Srinagar, Northeast, Madhya Pradesh, whether it is from our teacher resource group, those who are there, part of that. So I'll be happy to, get your comments today, as many as we can, but we will definitely take these sessions on regular basis with all of you, where we will have our expert panel with you to debate and discuss and take your suggestions for the further improvements. So before I go to Rohit, I'll now request Sajeev, who is our Director for Program Development and Support at regional level. And I can say the drive force behind this initiative. I'll request him to talk about the planning to reach out, especially in India, with this particular app, how he's planning to reach out, what is the strategies, what we have designed, so that others can understand and can share their ideas also. Sajeev, over to you.
Thank you, Aishwarya. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
You are.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all of you. Now, trying to understand what Aided Action is has been planning and is trying to do. Aided Action is an organization which strongly believes that education is the lever for development, and it has always try to use strategic approaches to ensure that the last mile learners are connected with education and they also equally benefit from education. Our engagement with information communication and technology to integrate that into education has been a work which since the past 6 years, and we have been successfully experimenting the ICT as a tool for education in remotest areas. For example, in the buffer zones of the Mudumalai forest, in the buffer zone of Bandipur forest, which is located in the boundaries of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka. And we were successful in bringing a change in the pedagogy and the learning processes. And in that process, we have been able to develop smart tools and use technological support in promoting education amongst the last mile learners, that is the tribal children over there. The iDream app is, we are taking it as an in a situation where we all are locked down. And in this COVID-19 pandemic situation, almost all of us are disconnected. And the worst situation are being faced by the last mile learners, the children from the underprivileged section who have got disconnected from education in total. And we feel that this is the right moment where we can use technology as a strategic tool to help them get connected back to education. And I'm thankful to iDream application house for having the trust and confidence in AEA and coming and partnering with us to take this forward as a strategic approach for education. We strongly feel that through this app, we'll be able to reach not more than 100,000 children in the first round of engagement. And as a ripple effect, we expect an addition of another 100,000 children, whom we call as the last mile learners, to be benefiting from this app. There are challenges. We have foreseen certain challenges because it is not as easy as it could be said, but we are prepared to take up challenges, and we also expect support from all of you to come together to help us in this journey to connect the last mile learners to education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sajeev. I have been watching the comments which are coming, from the Sri Lanka, from, few of the locations. I have been discussing this thing with our Teachers Resource Group member, Damodarji from Bhopal. He was also in all these discussions and all. So, Rohit, now I think it's your turn to talk about. You can see a lot of questions and comments which are coming in the box as well. So, can you please talk about the idea and why you thought that Aid Action would be an organization to partner with and to take this forward, and how do you think that there will be a beneficial a partnership to take this to the larger audience, especially in terms of the communities difficult to reach, or you can say where it is most required. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya. So at iDream Education, if I talk about the inspiration behind the app, for the last 4-5 years, we have been working at taking offline mode to our government school students. And while working with those solutions, we realized that there's a very strong need for an in-home learning supplement as well, where students can go back to their homes and with the kind of penetration which is happening in India with respect to smartphones and the internet, there's a very growing need for something that students can do at home as well. And then, so we had started building such an app for the past 1 year almost. And then this COVID-19 happened, and we realized that that need has now turned into a very immediate need, because especially the students who are in last mile learning ecosystem, if you look at them, they possibly don't have anything right now with which they can continue their learning and hopefully engagement in their home. So that's the beautifully into a universal app, which gives you content not just for your academics, but also equally relevant content from your life skill perspective as well. So we have, that's why apart from the academic content, we have put together a digital book library, a life skill section which students can, a life skills videos on health, hygiene, sanitation, sports. And we hope to continue to add and enrich this content library in the future. We are continuously working to do that. So that's the whole purpose of Aide Learning app. The students can be sitting in the comfort of their homes, safety of their homes, and still be able to continue their learning. And very importantly, something which we are very passionate about is that for a learner to be able to do all of this in the language that he or she understands best. So that's something very fundamental in our work, that we focus a lot on giving content to students which are in local languages. And also aligned to the curriculum, so that it makes it extremely easy for them to adopt such solutions at home. And we are extremely fortunate to get into this opportunity to partner with Aided Action. We implemented one project together, and that's how the partnership initiated. And the kind of reach that Aided Action has, the kind of vision which you guys have, and that's something which is extremely close to our heart as well. We love working with people where there is an alignment to work can happen. And that's exactly what I believe has happened in all of these interactions with Aided Action, wherein all my interaction with Supriya and Aishwarya sir, very strong fitment of vision in terms of what we want to do on the field. And given the reach that you have, I think it is going to be a phenomenal partnership wherein we would continue to support and provide all the backend support which is needed to ensure that the app continues to create the impact on the ground. And we would hope that Aided Action would continue to take this app to as many learners as possible. And and hopefully in few months, 3 months, 4 months down the line, we should be able to see some transformational impact. So I'm quite excited, very happy to do this. And also special thanks to all of you to have put this partnership together and put this event together in such a short span of time.
Yeah, thank you, Rohit, for your words. And, it is very important that technology which we use, how this technology reaches to the last mile learner, as Sajeev mentioned earlier. And I think we are fortunate enough having, you, iDream Education as a partner in the journey which we have thought of. This idea, when it was in discussion and when it was shared, I think there is always a room for experimentation and innovation. As I shared that, which has come from the board of Aided Action, and also the support and the vision of our international program director and regional director, Ravi Singh. So I'll request Ravi now to please, talk about this whole, his vision about this whole idea, how he is thinking that. And because I know he's very keen into reaching out to even to the, tribal language and all other experimentation, which Rohit may be difficult in coming times for you. To work on that, because his expectations are always very high in terms of innovations and experimentation. So I'll, hand it over to you, Ravi, for your words on this whole initiative. Ravi Pratap Singh, our International Program Director and Vision Director.
Thank you, Aishwarya. I think it is not just now, but for last 5-7 years, in Aide Action, we have been talking about the importance of information technology and how usefully we can bring in to our project areas so that most underprivileged children can benefit. Now, this experimentation has been in a scattered form, in bits and pieces here and there, in many places very successful, but we have not been able to universalize this kind of work for regular learning of our children who live in extreme remote areas. Sajeev has already talked about India, where we work in the fringes of forest fringes, tiger reserve fringes, deep remote areas, Adivasi tribal children, and so on. But it is not just India, but it is across the world. Far west in the country like Senegal, which is considered to be the seat of educational policy, to countries like Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, in Africa, Mali, Burkina Faso, Togo, the Indian Ocean country in Africa like Madagascar, and so on. So we do work with these children, but we have not been able to find a good solution in terms of how do we reach out to them on a regular basis using some powerful, effective, useful technology. And I see a glimpse of that in iDream. So as soon as I got to know about it, I looked at the features of it, and I, as much understanding I have about the, I'm not expert on IT, but understanding of architecture and the way you have developed this, it is something which will be very, very useful for the children with whom we work, the most underprivileged, working, living in most remote areas. Now, that gives us a lot of enthusiasm and confidence to get into this partnership. And as our board member, Mr. Sanjeev Kotnala, who also comes from a very strong corporate background, he said that, you know, we can't work alone. It has to be in collaboration. It has to be in partnership. So we do see this partnership with iDream Education, primarily because iDream Education, Rohit, you and your team are very open to suggestions. You are open to make modifications. And most importantly, your vision is also to reach out to the last children. So I am very, very hopeful of this partnership, and I am sure that this will be mutually rewarding a relationship between iDream and AEAI. By the way, one of our very big program on livelihood education is also called iLead, something like iDream. So I can see resonance of iDream and iLead. Perhaps within iLead program also, how we can bring in the principles of iDream would be something which I would like Aishwarya and all the teams across the world to explore with you and many others who are like you. So thank you very much. And I would like to thank all my team members, particularly in India and also in South Asia, who have given initial feedback, very encouraging feedbacks. But there are some which will definitely, as Aishwarya said, will pose challenge to you, Rohit, and your team. So let's move forward. We have already started with many of our children in India, and post-lockdown, we will be expanding it more systematically. So thank you very much. I would like to thank all my team members, staff members who are right at the ground zero, at the ground level. Working with. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Ravi, for this encouraging words for the team. I know because a lot of work has getting to plan to reach out to the teachers, students in the ground, all our NGO partners in the ground, those who have been supporting this whole initiative. So I would would again like to call Charles Emmanuel after listening all of the panel members. It's how he see that what you said about iLead and iDream, how aided action can dream about iLead's iDream. Charles, just before going on the concluding words. Charles, you're mute. You are on the mute. You are on the mute.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Aishwarya, for giving the floor. First of all, I want to thank a lot AEAI Education organization company, because it's very important to develop such a partnership with NGOs and the society, civil society. And I think it's working like that, we can build a better world. And so congratulations for all the South team, and thanks a lot for AEAI Education company. Now, I think it's very important to have such app developed, because what I can see all over the world, that the technology, information, and what we call the new technology of information are most of the time used by the most educated part of the population. And these technologies have a sense if they can be used also for the most vulnerable, the most underprivileged people, because the technology can help them, can reach them in the most remote area, and help them to have a continuity of their education. What is very important is, the second thing, is that such app developed in several mother languages can help the children, the teenagers, to start education in their own mother tongue. And that helps them to go through their education and to give them the possibility to go further, and then to develop education through another language, and the national language, for example, or other languages. So I think it's very important to develop that in India, and to test that in India, and then to look at how we can spread out within the organization. Mainly, as you said, Aishwarya, mainly through Aide, because I think we can join the two things. Aide, which is a very beautiful program which involved teenagers who have before that no options, no possibility, possibility to develop themselves and to have a better future. But through Aide, they learn a new job. They learn a job that will help them to earn money, to have sustainability with their families. And joining AEAI with that program will help, I think, to touch and to reach more young people, more young and underprivileged teenagers, and to involve them through the AEAI program. So I think it will be very helpful and very useful to develop that for our organization. And I think we have a long life for this app within the organization, for AEAI company, and for our partnership. I have no doubt about the good result we could reach through that. And thank you.
Thank you, Charles, for your encouraging words. So, friends, I think we are able to communicate through this discussion about the vision of the organization, about the partnership, what we are aiming at, what actually we are planning to do. Now, the success of this app is only depends on the feedbacks which comes from all our students, trainers, teachers, community members, team members. Until unless we receive the feedback, until unless we get to know what is there on the ground, what is the practicality, what is the need in all these things, until unless we receive that, we will not be able to do justice with this particular application and the vision which all our senior team members and the management has kept in us. And Rohit, you have heard from the all our management, so you can see this whole team who is there at this time. So this is the seriousness of the organization, how we are looking at and how best we can take this forward. So a lot of challenges, as I mentioned, there, and a lot of opportunities are also there for new experiment and innovation. So we'll do. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank first of all to Charles, who took time, Charles Emmanuel, our global CEO, who took time to join us from France, our deputy CEO, Mr. Savy, who took time from Cambodia, our international program director and regional director South Asia, Mr. Ravi Pratap Singh, our board member, Mr. Sanjeev Kotnala ji, PB Sajeev, Rohit, and especially I would like to thank our, you can say, the backbone of this whole arrangement, our project program manager, Chandrakiran and Supriya, those who have been working for the last 18 hours to make sure that this should go live with all the requirements. So I thank them. I thank all my team members too, there in Vietnam, Thong, from the other parts, team members from Burkina Faso, Mali, Sri Lanka, Kapila. I see you, excited raising your questions. Sorry, we cannot take all the questions, but Rohit is there. We will be having similar kind of sessions, especially with the team members. Then we will try to have sessions with few of our teachers, those who are using it. We will try to have sessions with our volunteers. We'll try to do that. And it will be open.
Aishwarya, just 1 minute. Though we are not answering all these questions, but we will definitely have answers and post it back to all our colleagues. So that's something which we must promise here, and we are promising, right?
And to add on from my side, we also look for interesting solutions while we share our solutions too.
Rohit, your commitment is only required now here.
No, so I will try it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Our commitment lies with the children. Our commitment lies with the children who are going to use the solution to learn better, to improve their educational outcomes, and to acquire skills. So as long as we are committed to that, I can assure you that we will be doing anything from our end which is required to support those children for their growth.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Keep sharing your ideas. The email ID which has been given, info.idream@aidedaction.org. Do share your ideas. Keep posting. Share with us suggestions. Anything, any videos, anything which you have, you think will be helpful in the local language or any other language. So we will look forward. Thank you, everyone, once again, for taking out time and joining us. Keep watching. Keep waiting for us. Keep posting us so that we can come live on you. Thank you very much. Signing off from here.